Alrighty. We are headed home. It is quite late, 5:30, so I'm going to hit all that fucking traffic again. Been here at work for 12 hours today, so this was a fairly long day. Had an hour break in there to work out, 30-minute shower, so 10 and a half hours-ish today. Nice long 2-hour meeting in there. Granted, Monday, so yesterday, we had off. It was a Donza, so day of no scheduled activity. So the soldiers were off, all the government employees were off. Contractors, we do not get that off. So we were here for 3 hours for a workout yesterday. Spread out the rest of those 8 hours throughout the week, which basically already there after today. And then Thursday, tomorrow, gonna go head out to the range, doing an M17 range. So get to hang out while they shoot some guns, do some stress event testing with the rower and the pro mask. May be able to go fire a few rounds myself. We'll see how much we got, how much ammo we have left over. If I gotta shoot, I gotta shoot. If not, I mean, not in my job is to shoot. It is to help them. So if there are not enough rounds, then that is perfectly fine. But if I get the chance to shoot, I will shoot. Let's see what else we got. Had that 4-day. We were in Charlotte on Saturday. Mac qualified for junior nationals, hitting the exact total she needed, going 6 for 6. It was a hell of a day. Rory had already qualified for junior nationals. She went 5 for 6, hit some good numbers there, with all the stress of school going on right now too. Came back, hit some Costco. And yeah, now we're just rolling. Next week, they're doing the pre-competition for my best sappers, which is going to be 60 miles of rucking and running in 3 days. So they are going to get more or less the shit beat out of them. I think is the scientific way to say that. But getting into the thick of it, how you speak to yourself is going to determine how you perform. So with that, a lot of people are very hard on themselves. That's a lot to do with your upbringing. So like Nikki, for example, is very much a perfectionist, and she grew up with a colonel as a father and a grandfather who was also a retired colonel. So she grew up when he was base commander, wing commander, all those different things. So she was in that position. You have to be perfect because you have to live up to, and you are then also held to the same standards that your father is as the commander. So because of that, she deals with a lot of perfectionism, and if everything does not go completely perfectly, then she ends up feeling a failure. So a lot of people feel that same way and have those same tendencies where every single thing they expect themselves to be perfect in every single capacity, and if they fall short of that even just slightly, there is a lot of negative self-talk that happens, which is fine. That's how you grew up. That's how you deal with things. That's just the ingrained pattern in you. The pattern in and of itself is not the issue. The issue arises when that patterning starts to then creep into our weightlifting as well. So we already talked before, the placebo effect is real. What your brain experiences, how your brain experiences the world, will dictate exactly how you adapt and how your body responds to certain situations. So I've had this talk with quite a few of my athletes. This is not singling anyone out. This is a talk I've had with probably all of my athletes, where they upload some videos to Coach Now. There is, oh yeah, here's this wrong with the XYZ, or I did terrible today, or this was just a really shitty session. That one, not so bad, but like already examining what went wrong, telling me what went wrong, and then the entire video is like, oh yeah, you're right, that did go wrong. I got nothing else to add. Which, again, by itself fine, but when we get into a constant pattern of just negative self-talk and just talking shit on ourselves, that's not going to be good. Couple reasons for that though. First off, it's just going to make the sport not enjoyable. If you are constantly leaving training with a bad attitude every single time, where you are degrading yourself every single time, eventually you're going to fucking hate the sport because you're already talking like it. Like the fact that you're saying every single session is shit, you are terrible, you did these things poorly, you just can't get it right, the world is collapsing, all this, like you are in a state of like talking badly about the sport that you claim to love and enjoy. So over time, those words you're saying are going to creep into your psyche, and you're going to be like, yeah, I fucking hate this sport. Like, I feel terrible when I do it all the time because you're just talking shit on yourself every single day. So eventually, you're going to burn the fuck out, and you're just tired of feeling so shitty, and you're going to quit the sport. On top of that, though, if you are constantly telling yourself that you are bad at a sport and that you are terrible and that you can't fix these things, you are becoming these problems. You are the issue. It's not your technique or these things that need fixed. You are the reason that your technique is bad. Again, that's going to lead you down that same hole of I am the problem. I can never be good at weightlifting. I suck. I should quit. I hate this. I'm not good enough to do this. So leading down that same pipeline of all that negative self-talk, leading you to then, at the end of the day, quitting the sport. But then, let's say you persevere through all your shit talk on yourself and you end up staying in the sport competing. If you break down after just a couple or even one technical flaw, where you go back, you watch your video, you see, oh my god, this was fucking atrocious. I am bad. I can't believe I did that. I don't know how to fucking fix it. You're going to go out on the platform, and that is going to live with you. So let's say you're doing your warm-ups, and all of your warm-ups aren't going to be great. None of your entire sessions are always going to be great. There's always going to be something wrong. That's just how doing a sport goes. Never going to have a perfect day. If you are constantly ending all of your sessions talking shit about yourself, or even during the sessions talking shit about yourself, if you have some warm-ups that start to go wrong, that pattern is coming back in. You are then just constantly telling yourself, I suck. I don't deserve to be on this platform, down that same spiral. So you have a couple bad warm-ups and you get into that shit-talking state, you have already set yourself up to bomb out. You are not in the mental headspace to actually do what the sport requires, which is for you to, sometimes miss, sometimes suck, and deal with it and persevere and still come back and hit some big lifts. If you are just constantly talking shit on yourself and degrading yourself, you are not going to have that mental fortitude that is required for you to come back and actually make the lifts. So that happens in the warm-up area, let alone that happens out on the actual platform. If you miss your first attempt or even second attempt, and you are already stepping off the platform, telling yourself what you did wrong, telling yourself, oh my god, why the fuck did I just do that again? I always do it. Why can I not get over that? Your likelihood of making that next lift is very low. I don't got no studies to back that up, but I can tell you pretty accurately that if you're just talking shit on yourself and you're degrading yourself constantly, you're not going to be mentally strong enough to be able to actually persevere and do that. So overall, like, just that mental shit talk is either going to lead you into hating the sport and quitting, or hating the sport and performing poorly, because just all of that. So you're either, this negative talk isn't helping you by any stretch of the imagination. And I don't think anyone who does this thinks it's beneficial. It's just that pattern they have ingrained in you. But if you're constantly staying on that spiral of all that negative talk, all you're doing is leading yourself to either burnout and quitting, hating the sport and quitting, or doing poorly at competitions and then eventually quitting. So if you want to quit the sport, there are easier ways to quit the sport. No one's making you pick up the barbell. No one is making you come in and do this monotonous training over and over just to do 6 total lifts. You can do that whenever. You can quit. You can put down the barbell. You don't have to do the sport. But if you want to do the sport, I would suggest making the sport an enjoyable experience. And having it where you are just constantly talking shit. I enjoy talking shit to other people. Talking shit and degrading yourself does not seem that enjoyable to me. And I would not want to do a sport where I'm constantly degrading myself and telling myself how badly I am, how bad at the sport I am. So there's a couple ways you can start to build up that mental fortitude to be able to overcome this and change that pattern that is built within you. Sorry, lots of coffee. I've talked a lot today. Not a lot of water, not a lot of food because I've been at work for 12 hours. So my throat's not ready for this. But First thing, so for people who have a tendency to do this a lot, the thing I make them do is every single session, every single time you upload a video, instead of saying something negative, or even if you say something negative, I need to hear at least one thing you did positive that day, at least one success you had that day. So starting to get that good self-talk in there, that positive self-talk in there, just planting that seed of, hey, all right, cool, this objectively was not a great day. Cool. What did you still do good? What still made you feel successful? Where is that good thing you can find in there that still makes you enjoy the sport? Something to just plant that seed of, hey, let's start talking a little bit better about it. So let's start getting that mental fortitude a little bit better. Another way I have offered up to athletes to get over this before is before you go into your session. Let's say if you are just so mentally bogged down with a lot of things that then seeps into your lifting, all that stress, and then everything falls apart, get a sheet of paper, pen and paper, write down every single thought you have in your head, every single thing on your to-do list, every single thing on your calendar, every single thing you have to do that day, that week, whatever. Write it down. You have everything written down. Crumple up that piece of paper, throw it away. Every single thought in your head has now been written down and has been said to the world. That paper is now done. Every single thought is out there. You have every single thing you need to do. Get it out of the way. Whether you throw that paper away or you save it for later so you can come back to it and get those things done, doesn't matter. Write out every single thought in your head, put it on paper, put it somewhere else out of your view, and now fully focus your session on that lifting. Because a lot of this negative self-talk too can bleed in from other areas of life. If you are getting bogged down at work, your boss is just fucking shitting on you, then you're going to come in the gym, you're going to take that anger out on either the barbell, or if the barbell's not working too well, you're going to take it on yourself. So get all that shit out of your head, put it somewhere else, get it out of there. The last way, which I'm about to blank on, here we go. This has been very effective with one person recently. It has been view every lift as just that lift. Be there in the present. So what I asked of this athlete was, I do not care what you have done the day before. I don't care what you're doing the next day. I don't care about the last lift or the next lift. I don't care if it's competition about the lift you just hit or the lift you want to hit. I don't give two shits about anything except this very moment, this very lift right fucking here. So focusing, having all of that mental strength focused on just this very one moment. The next lift does not matter and does not affect at all what you're about to do right now. The last lift does not matter and does not affect anything at all that you are about to do right now. Your only focus is doing this lift to the best of your ability. There is no bearing that the last lift had on this one. You can have a terrible lift before and then fucking PR the next lift. There is no bearing. The only bearing of a previous lift or a future lift is the pressure that you put on yourself. If you have a bunch of shitty lifts in a row, you're going to start putting more pressure on yourself. You're going to start that negative self-talk and you're going to go down that spiral. If you are really focusing, like you have a certain number you need to hit, like Mac this weekend, she had to hit 2 numbers to qualify. Like we needed her to go 6 for 6 to qualify. She did that because well, there we go. She's the person I'm talking about. She has had that focus now of, hey, I am in this very moment. No, the only bearing that last lift has is if I let it have bearing. There is no power in the last lift. There is no power in the next lift. The only power is in this very moment, this very lift you are about to do. So those are 3 ways there to start getting your mental fortitude in check a little bit and just stop talking shit on yourself. I'm tired of it.